Well, hello everybody, and happy Sunday to you. We have made it to what is today? Today is the 22nd, I believe. This is a very unplanned, unscripted show that we wanted to do. I want to welcome my co-host Anna. Welcome to the stage, and welcome Kim and Kimberly. Welcome, guys. Everybody also watching out in YouTube and on Twitch. Welcome. I always forget that we simulcast to other places, so I sometimes forget to welcome everybody. But yeah, this is an energy garden room, and Anna and I actually started the energy garden on a totally other platform quite a while back, and kind of with the purpose of being able to dive into more, sometimes a more spiritual approach, and you kind of being able to talk about the universe and energy and just how we operate within ourselves and how we connect to the different parts within us that sometimes get lost. Um, Anna, are you around?
Yes, I'm here.
There we
I
go.
finished eating, so
Hey, that's a
I'll
good thing.
back here.
That
Hmm.
is definitely a good thing. I was having a little bit of a glitch earlier, so guys in the audience, please, by all means, if you can't hear us good enough, yeah, just give us a shout, let us know. And I wanted to share something really short, actually, just to kind of give us maybe a launching board here. And this is something I posted earlier, and it just kind of struck me for today. And it was just interesting that this is also the day that we wanted to come in here and do this. But it's about understanding and dealing with emotions is the main part, but also how do we view and look at exhaustion and burnout? How do we keep those things from happening? One of the targets we're going to tonight is here we are at the coming to the end of the first month of this year, and I know that for a lot of people, this has also been you've got the holidays finally behind. Now everybody's trying to gear up to get into one. I hope all the new things that we're going to do this year, but also there's that sometimes that overwhelming layer that happens. We feel all of a sudden just a weight of maybe all the things that maybe got side shifted during the holidays and such, and then just in general fighting that place inside of ourselves, inside of our mind, where we feel like we might be slipping back into not making progress. We start thinking about all the things of what maybe didn't happen last year, or all the things we did too much of, how we maybe did feel tired, and what are we going to do now to fix it? Like, we all know what it's like to take on more than we can handle. Even with the best intentions, continuously undertaking too much inevitably leads to burnout. And when we fail to balance obligations and self care, we risk feeling drained and losing our joy. Now, I can recall in my own personal life having many moments when I have taken and have taken on way too much. And for those that know me, Anna, you know this, that I always have my hand in a couple of different things all the time. And I've always been the type of person, though, that wants to kind of stay busy, handling multiple projects or, you know, doing things in the moment, that kind of thing. But I would often neglect the signs that my internal gut was telling me. I would not listen to my spirit, and I would ignore my intuition. Um, would obviously create so many layers that I paid the price for it. I break myself down. I feel stress. I feel anxiety. I can make myself sick. You know, exhaustion can escalate. My sleep has suffered. My mood would get declined. Those kind of things. And because I was ignoring these signs, I would end up in sometimes I'd have to end up being sick at home, staying in bed sometimes for a day or two to kind of recoup. And then after that, I knew that I had to make a change. I had to, number one, get more equipped for self care. I had to build routines that were going to be a healthier focus, a healthier, you know, approach for myself, so that I did not continue to do this. Now, I know plenty of busy people that that's their comfort. Woody, welcome. Their comfort is staying busy. I want to have multiple things to do all the time. That's just how I operate. Great, but as long as you still have to have that self care pattern built into the equation. Okay, um, and just wrapping this thought up. So, what would happen if the next time that you feel that way? So the next time you feel that coming on, that you just give yourself permission to rest. That's it. Sometimes. So it comes down to just I give myself permission to, hey, you know what? It's okay to tell everybody I'm busy for a minute and take this time to just take care of me. I want to take care of maybe do some meditation, maybe do something that's going to get my balance back in check to where I'm healthy again. So that was my little catalyst there. And you want to chime into that at all? And you can leave your mic unmuted at this point. We'll just chat this through.
Yeah, hey. It's the new Lunar New Year it's the 22nd of January. So I wanted to talk about, I just want to bring a little bit of the spiritual and like the, magic part of it
Yeah.
that I kind of resonate to.
Yes.
The holidays are heavy, energy's heavy. The Lunar New Year is now emerging. It's a Chinese New Year. It's now time to start moving forward and evaluating what we need to do, what we need to affirm. Like we do the resolutions each year, but why do we do these resolutions? Because we know that we're maybe not taking care of ourselves in the most best ways for ourselves, right? Authentic ways and showing up for ourselves. And I think sometimes we do these resolutions that are just based maybe more superficially, but it's important to look inwardly and to see what are we lacking in to give to ourselves, like self-care, like are we actually pausing once in a while? Are we sleeping well? Is our like our resilience, like are we building up our resilience to make sure we can show up for ourselves and then we can show up for others? Like, and when it comes to self-care and just like even just being able to notice like what we need in a moment, it takes time. And we're humans that are, I think, have been taught to be stressed out and going all the time, and pausing and taking rest isn't considered um effective thing, or rest isn't considered important to some, but it's so important. Like it's so important to pause or meditate or breathe, like taking actually deep breaths to calm the nervous system. But
Absolutely.
I just like for me right now, I where my energy is and for my self-care and stuff, the holidays are really hard for myself. I know where my energy is in the holidays. I think it's a time for rest. I'm, in New England and it's snowy and it's time to cave and kind of take care of myself, kind of hibernate a little bit. And now that it's the new year, I think it's time again to reevaluate. And I think that's just what it is. It's being able to tune into yourself and know what you need for yourself. And that takes time. But I think I've been working on my self love and self care for many years now. And it's not perfect, but it does start with it's not self being selfish, but self-preservation. You have to put
Yeah.
yourself first a little bit. But
Yeah.
some of us are programmed and taught that we shouldn't put ourselves first, we should care for others. And absolutely community is so important, but we talk about you know like your cup being full, like how can you pour into others if you have nothing in your cup? So yeah, I feel like I said
I
quite a
love
bit,
that.
but
No,
but that's
no,
really
you just
where, yeah.
no, you just hit some really great points in this, and I want to go back to that evaluation process. That's that's huge because we sometimes we will have it in our brain a little bit, like we know all the different parts, we know the things we want to get to or whatever the case may be, but we're not taking the time to stop and evaluate how are we going to do this? What is that process going to be? And
Right.
part of
Right.
that process is getting back to that place of that self-care. And I just spoke about this the other day. Actually, I was a guest on somebody else's podcast, and I was talking
Mm,
about giving yourself permission to, one, you have to sit with all the different things that you feel sometimes. You got to sit with that stress. You got to sit with that feeling confused. You got to sit with
yep.
all these different things and understand how do you process that? Because
Right.
how we each are going to deal with something is going to be our own way of dealing with it. Not we're all different, and so
Right.
what works for you may not work for me. And so, but we have to still align ourselves to understand what that is. Um,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
yeah, the meditation, taking a breath, just taking pause for a minute is definitely a huge thing. And I think that with your hibernation point, so many of us, because maybe things were bad, maybe we've come through some stressful times in our life, maybe we were depressed or whatever. Well, when we get into that
Mm,
isolation mode, it becomes we start to latch on to that a little too heavy. And so now we're
Hmm.
keeping ourselves in that locked, hibernated state. And yeah, like you said, now we're coming into something brand new. We're in a brand new cycle now. Now it's time for us to bloom out again. Now it's time for us to
Yeah.
get charged up, get a direction. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to still have to battle some of the hurdles and battle some of the feelings, but we're going to do it in a brand new way, and we're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to utilize healthy selfish. And when we can utilize healthy
Yes.
selfish, that's where you are making yourself a priority. Because if you're not a priority, you're not giving your best to everything else around you.
Yep. Yep. And I feel like if you don't do it for yourself, like your body is really good about making you stop, like stress, overwhelm, like your body gets sick because you need to stop, you need to rest. So I feel like inevitably it ends up being that you have to care for yourself. And so why not do it as like a preventative, as an antecedent, as we would say in behavior analysis, like
That's right.
prevent you from getting that burnout, prevent yourself from feeling so, you know, overwhelmed, out of
Yeah,
spoons, like they say, knowing your spoons each day and knowing what you have to give, and
absolutely.
it's okay to pause. I being like really spiritual, and I like to say I connect to the divine or the universe. I had a feeling this year, like in winter time, that I was going to be this way, that I wasn't going to be as productive, but it was productive because I needed that rest, because I have been pushing myself all year. And I
Hmm.
kind of had a sign, or if you will, or even like an intuitional feeling saying, like, it's okay. You're going to pause for a while. Like, the holidays are hard for you. Just give a break to yourself. And
Yeah,
I'm like, okay. And it's like, but I also knew that I would come back and get back on track. But it's also being
yeah,
patient and kind with yourself, like giving yourself permission, like you said, to feel, to know where that feelings are coming from, to kind of, but to, yeah, and then like move on and move forward, learn from those things, learn from those challengers, and give yourself like permission to feel it. And then what else, and then try to solve that, right? Like, what are tools that you need, or what supports you need, what do you need to do for yourself, like really listening to, like, I say the whispers of the heart. This is the energy garden. So I use like my own language, but it is listening to like your internal system. If you need to rest, rest. If you need to move or dance, dance. If you need to, you know, clean your space or organize, do that. Like, I think like we have so much intellect and so much knowing in ourselves, but I think because we're so busy, we also forget that, because we're not really allowing ourselves to connect to ourselves and allowing ourselves to really ground and be truthful to ourselves. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, that's totally
it's
right. You brought. I
yeah.
mean, when you were saying that, I have a very personal experience with this recently. I I took a step back for a little bit right before the holidays with my Psych Candy show, which I do here, and I normally do my show Monday through Friday, 11:30. Well, I was taking just a short break, what was supposed to be a shorter break, to just align
Hmm.
some new articles and all that, but also just to kind of take some time for me to get refreshed, do that well. I got off track. I started letting my schedule of other things or taking priority and now all of a sudden I
Mm.
wasn't meeting my happy. I wasn't meeting
Hmm.
my place. So I miss being here. I enjoy doing my show. That's part of what
Right.
I want to do. Well, so that's why
Yeah.
now I have to get back into that. I'm having to make myself, do that because that's what's important. So, and it works out.
Yes.
I was doing it before for a year, so we can get back to doing it again. So, yeah.
I resonate because right, like I said, I've been kind of like, right, I feel like a bear, like kind of just
Hmm.
like in my burrow. And then I'm just like, oh my gosh, I miss connecting with people. I miss like hosting spaces and like holding space for others and talking about what I'm passionate about, because like that's one of my higher purposes. That's one of my bigger things in my life that I know that I want to do, and I feel like I'm good at, and I love doing it, like, is connecting with others. But I also needed to hold that space for myself first, so then I
Right.
could show up again and be ready. And now it's like it's a passion again. I'm excited for it, and that's where I want to be about, things in life. And I think again it goes back to self-care, like setting yourself up for that. And yeah, and I'm excited, and that's why we're here in the space now. We're ready, and but we
Yeah.
right, we both notice like, oh crap, something's missing. Like, I
Right.
haven't had a room in a long time. I and you'll always end up connecting with those that, you align with in spaces like this. So it's just, it's being right again, aligning with your truths and self-care is community too, connecting with others and talking with others that you enjoy like their company or what give right it makes your brain think and people that just have engaging conversations or just really relevant and helpful things. It's just it fills my cup,
Absolutely.
and I hope that it fills other people's cups because that's I think the intent of any of these spaces. Well, I mean, at least the spaces we have are like some to get
Right.
some value and to take
Yeah,
whatever resonates and leave what doesn't, and so
that's
it's
right.
cool. It's all
That's
good
right.
stuff.
It is all good stuff. I want to take a pause really quick and just again, Woody, welcome, man. Good to see you. Kimberly, welcome. Everybody watching out in YouTube and everybody watching on Twitch, welcome. This is the Energy Garden. My co-host is also one of my best friends, Anna Couture. And Anna, I want you to kind of tell everybody a little bit about you, if you don't mind. Like, what do you do, and about your meditation and yoga stuff, because that's important, and that's something I've really been trying to gear people into finding avenues like that that can help just recharge you a bit, make you feel better, help you sleep better, eat better, all that kind of thing. So I'm gonna let you have it on
Sure. Hi, Woody. Hi, Kimberly. And, hi, everyone on Fireside
that. Right?
Spaceland here. Um, yeah, my name's Anna. My day job, I guess you could say, my 9 to 5. I work at a nonprofit based residential programming and day programming for adults with autism, developmental disabilities, and brain injury. So I support them and yeah, so that's kind of what I do during the day. I've worked with, younger kiddos too, and just like behavior management and supports. And um, with that, I love that scientific realm, but spirituality is obviously important to me. So I also am a hatha yoga facilitator. So I'm yoga teacher trained, and I love to combine like the scientific, how we can change our behavior, in a very data driven way and a very like scientifically proven way, but then also bringing in, I mean, there's not evidence based with meditation, but they're finally coming up with research, like there's, and then just bringing in the combination of just goals, like really behavioral set goals, but also teaching stuff that we talk about on the mat with like meditation, breath work, and kind of being able to feel your body and what it needs. So kind of bringing those skills together. And it's it kind of sounds a little complex maybe as I'm like so wordy right now about it, but it's not. It's, break it down and it's just kind of, yeah, evaluating what you need and taking bite-sized bits at a time because
I like that.
life, like behavior change, like as a scientist, it takes time. Changing a community takes time, but your self change, self awareness, like it doesn't have to be really just these big changes. It's little bite sized bites, and you can go so far. But it just starts with like just that one little step. And
That's right.
I'm slowly working with clients, and I've actually have two right now that I'm just working on small goals, and it's just checking and consistency and support. And that's what I love to do. I just love to connect with people. So during the day, I connect with my adult humans, and during the evening, I'm either painting or dancing, or talking to people about yoga or breathing or meditating with them, or coaching, whatever I can do. I just love humans, and I love to help. And I also really value like again pauses and self care and all in between. So that's my
I love
spiel.
that. I love that. Also, everybody, if you just look at the fortune cookie right there, I have Anna's information. You can also visit her website. Um, and Anna
Oh,
does
thank you.
beautiful paintings. And you that see, I think it's very important that because we all have something that connects us. We all have something that's part of our passion that releases
Mm,
us into things. It might be maybe for you it's writing, maybe it's painting, maybe it's doing music. For me it's music. I mean, but your paintings though are so awesome. Um,
well, thank you.
I think back to just you doing the memory capture stuff, that we were talking about. That's huge. And not only in that process are you facilitating something that's helping you because you enjoy doing it, but you're offering something that's connecting to somebody else, and that's huge.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the painting I sent you, that's a commission piece I've been working on for months, but because I was in my little cave, I wasn't really inspired. But you know,
You're in
like
bear
I put
mode.
a lot of love, I put a lot of love and energy into my art. And I think again, like that's also a form of self-care, is being able to pause and paint, or you know, whatever modality it is at the time. Like I also do like upcycling sculptures, like taking like broken things and making them new with like some cool, you know, like just I don't know, just creating. And again, like that's
Right.
something that I find I love and I enjoy. And not only is it just for it's I don't just do it for others, I do it for myself. And it's just again, it goes back to that self-care and aligning with your truths. And that's something I spend energy on, but it doesn't drain me, or it can be tiring, but it doesn't drain me the same. You know, it's like, oh, it's a good kind of draining. It's like a good workout where you're like sore and you're like, oh, I'm sore, but it's
Yeah.
because I did the work, you know, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just good. Gosh, I haven't had a sore like that actually in a workout in a long time. But
I
that's
love it.
okay. I don't like to push myself when it comes to that stuff. But but
Right.
yeah, I love to create and paint, and that's another, you know, my truth is I want to eventually be able to, yeah, do that for more of a living, and do my mentorships and coachings more for a living, and not have my day job. But it takes little small steps and small goals, and that's what this year is. It's about expansion and knowledge and growth for myself, so I can do the, you know, the next bigger things I want to do. And you know,
Exactly.
that's so yeah, but it's a
I
one
love
bit at
that.
a time, one moment at a time, and we can do it. It's just consistency, believing in ourselves, and you know, affirming, you know. So
You're
yeah.
right. You're right. I look at that as well. It's like I feel like for those that know me, and I talk about this in some of my other shows, but I've always had my side business, which typically has always involved events, music, whatever. Well, so with that though, I really started putting all this effort and energy, right? And so my 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 hints of goal reaching exploded on me, which was part of one of my other reasons, which is a good thing in a way, but it was also a bad thing in a way because I wasn't getting myself ready for what was about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, like basically my music company and everything I'm doing with that, it's gotten way, it's too busy. There's too much going on. So now I'm having to scale that back so I can balance back in because obviously, my psychology and all that, that's first and foremost. That'll always be number one. But I got to have that balance. Otherwise, I'm going to get to that place where then it makes me start feeling overwhelmed. Now I'm neglecting, all those areas about myself that I need to fix. And so that's not good. But it does come back to like just kind of, aligning yourself though. Like when you get things right and you're doing what you need to be doing and what you want to be doing, and it's balanced good, then now you've got something that works. Now you have a
Yeah.
working mixture in place.
Yeah. You just gotta tap in, like what do you need to do for yourself, like to make it right, that balanced place, like what do you need? And sometimes you gotta meditate on it or tap in, like what does Trinity need to do to, you know, to
Excuse
support.
me.
You
That's right. That's right.
know. So
Now, guys, this is
yeah.
obviously not a typical Psych Candy show. This is our energy card. So, I do like to offer Woody, Kimberly, if you guys would like to come up on the stage and ask Anna a question or me, or just bring up a topic or comment, you are more than welcome to do so. So, definitely do that while we're kind of wrapping up our thoughts here. Elizabeth,
Yeah.
welcome. Glad to have you. We are talking about, well, we're kind of talking, we've been all over the place a little bit, but we're talking about like, are we taking care of us? Bottom line. Are we taking care of who we are? Are we aligning ourselves for the
Mm,
destination and goal that we have set for ourselves for this new year? Are we letting go of the toxic? Are we letting go of bad mentality? Are we letting go of bad routines? And and if we're not, you got it's now's the time to shift. Um,
check in.
yeah, I mean this is the lunar year, and that means this is a time of change and transition. It's a time to elevate above where you were at before. Time to progress. There's been way too much over the last 3 years, man. There's been way too much regression in so many different areas. There's been regression in how we operate with each other and how society operates. There's been regression in just how we deal with depression, anxiety, stress, feeling overwhelmed. Um, we have to get back to where we've got to shift that now. It's time for us to elevate out of the dark places. It's time to elevate past, that overwhelming feeling. If you're overwhelmed, then sit back, do nothing except breathe and think. Lay it out. Let yourself feel what's going on so that you can understand it. Because we are all going to navigate that differently, but you need to understand you. You got to rebuild your relationship back with yourself first and foremost. Otherwise, you're going to stay in the exact same place that you've been, or you're going to continue to regress further down. Nobody wants that. You know? And I think it's important to, we were talking about earlier about bringing about the healthy selfish. Because because you put yourself first and make you a priority, that does not make you an arrogant person or a conceited person, or that uh, it's not a negative. It's healthy selfish means I want to be the healthiest, happiest, and in the best position for me as a person. I know me. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. I know what I'm going to tolerate and what I'm not. And that's why it's so loose. We have to form that. Make sure we hold on to that relationship with ourselves, because that is. And when you have that relationship in a great place, guess what? Your friends are going to experience the better version of you. Your relationships, your romantic relationships will experience it. Your family will experience it. Your job will experience it, because you've allowed yourself to take care of you. Because you've aligned it to where you realize if you're in a shitty place, guess what? That's what you're going to be pumping out if you don't fix it. You're going to be putting that negative that you're holding inside. That's what's going to be put in to the new things you're trying to do. And that's also where frustration is going to kick in, overwhelmed feeling is going to kick in, the depression might kick in, stress and anxiety, the list goes on and on. So take the time. Make sure you know who you are. Make sure you know what you've come out of, and make sure you embrace where it is you want to go, because that's what's going to elevate you. That's what's going to empower you. Use affirmations. Tell yourself if you're coming out of a bad place, maybe a bad relationship, whatever, tell yourself and know it. I deserve better. I deserve more than, not less than. Self love, self care, self awareness. Anyway, that's my that was my little spiel right there. I'll hush and let you let you dive in at it.
How could I follow that up? That's like everything, you know? But yeah, I mean, please, if anyone wants to join the stage, please come on up and share if you want to talk. I mean, this is like, I'm usually, just to be really honest, like I'm usually on Clubhouse and I haven't really been much on Fireside, but I love the open forum space. I love to hear from other
Yeah,
people. I love to hear, like their thoughts, like, what things are working for them, what things aren't, like it's like the things that I love to talk about, like we're talking about the self-care. It's like it's not just about talking about it, it's taking action and how we can help each other take that action, and I love it. Like it is like, self-preservation, like
that's
self-preservation.
exactly what
It's
it
just
is.
taking care and just it it's and sometimes I feel so tacky about it because I talk about self-love so much and like how important it is. But I know the right people that hear it, like, or that I'm talking, like when I talk, I know some people hear it and receive it because it is so important and it's very
Oh,
devalued,
absolutely.
you know? Literally
Yeah,
pausing is devalued, like taking 3 deep breaths, like devalued, but it's like slow deep breaths in that nervous system, like I'm just gonna do one right now because I'm excited. I feel my heart pumping and I'm like, oh, I need to breathe, but it's
right.
just, it's so, like, hold on, I'm gonna do it right now. Ready?
There you go. And sometimes it's just that simple. Just tell your brain to shut up a minute. Just take a breath.
Like, how often do we ever do that? We're too
Right.
busy like driving here, going there, thinking about this, needing to do that. Like,
Yeah, hold on, I gotta get on my
it's so
phone.
deep.
Hold on, I need my phone for
Yeah,
a second.
hold on, my text. Oh, there's this, like we we're just are it's what we're surrounded by and it's okay, like, but just because the world is busy doesn't mean we need to be. And if that's the biggest lesson I've learned in the last couple of years, like that's I think so important. We don't need to be like what we I want to be what I want to see, and I just want to be calm and content and happy, and that's what I want to model the world for the world. And I hope that people, when I smile
Right.
and I try to be as open and loving, I know people that, people resonate with that and they smile back because it's like that love and that contagious, energy.
See,
Again,
it
self-care,
is.
self-preservation, showing up for yourself, you can show up for others. And
That's
blah,
right.
I feel like I'm just dropping my drop my soapbox.
No,
But
no, it's
that's
good.
what these spaces are about.
It's good stuff. It's good. And before our
Yeah.
train, before we move this train to a different station, hold on. I want to share this, and I'm kind of giving away a little tidbit too. Part of what's happening in the future, in the near future for Sight Candy is I'm doing a whole segment that's going to be a week long, and I'm talking about different aspects of emotions. Okay, and I'm gonna read this to you guys really quick. This is a snippet of this, and it's related to emotions, obviously, but soothing yourself. And this is short. It's not long. Um, but while growing up, many of us never had the proper tools of guidance to deal with difficult emotion. We never learned to understand our sadness, our anger. We were not taught how to calm our anxiety or soothe our frustration. Instead, we learned to distract and avoid, to tune out unpleasant feelings with numbing, sometimes destructive behavior. In our adult years, being aware can help you cultivate better habits of self soothing or self care. We must develop self acceptance and compassion. We learn to be with whatever arises rather than run from it. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. We have to sit with things sometimes. You have to sit with it to understand what you feel about it. These tools allow us to care for our own hurt. So rather than seeking discomfort or distraction or destruction, remember to reach for the tools of self soothing. Be loving, kind, gentle with yourself, and then you will be able to hold your own heart. Give yourself space to feel and time to breathe and become your own source of comfort. Brian Andrews said this, and I love this. Brian Andrews said, "There are days I drop words of comfort on myself like falling leaves and remember that it is enough to be taken care of by myself." And that's what I wanted to share. I thought that it was appropriate with what we were talking about.
Yeah, I love
Did we-
that. Oh my gosh. That's like, I mean, I'm so open, and I guess like, right, this is just like, I'm just going to be open with like my history. Like you're talking to, I was a child of trauma, like I have PTSD, and I have those quote unquote labels, of,
right?
and self-soothing tools, like literally, like it's learning yourself, it's learning your brain. I'm also neurospicy. I love that saying. I hear neurodivergent. I hear
Neurospicy.
neurospicy. That's the new.
I like that.
I like it too because like so, but it's learning to. I love that. There's just a lot.
Neurospicy.
Neurospicy,
I'm gonna
but
yeah,
it's
I'm gonna use that. That could that
do it.
that could be its own show.
I
Neurospicy.
I will, and please, like, please have me on that because I would love to talk about that. And my
Oh yes.
new roommate Katie is also neurospicy, so it's a good time. You should hear our conversations. Two girls with ADHD,
Neurospicy.
like all over
Oh my God.
conversations. But
I love it.
but that's a whole nother topic. But that's part of it. It's understanding your brain. It's like you're talking to some. I was like doing, I've done therapy and I've done coaching and stuff, but I'm going on YouTube and I'm learning about my brain. I'm learning about ADHD. I'm learning about all these things and like coping, self-soothing strategies because I know
Right.
like what works for me. And then I'm like, oh, now I feel a certain way. And I'm like, okay, again, checking in with myself. Like, what do I need in this moment? And like I listen to coaching videos online on YouTube and other resources too. And it's about education and learning those tools. But yeah,
Right.
like, self-soothing and for everyone. Like we've all been through stuff, whether we're younger or older, like we all have like hard experiences and it is learning to navigate those experiences and in safe and appropriate ways. Like that's literally what I do for a living is I teach people skills on self-soothing and being able to really self-regulate, really check within themselves to see what they need. And that varies, right? Journaling, reflection on, like that's what I do. I journal. I try to journal every day. I've been lax about it, but I'm getting back into it. But just reflecting on how I feel, especially when I'm upset, like because I'm a person that used to be very reactive and like could be very angry. But that's also how my family showed, like that's how I learned to express myself was what I saw was like my parents showed anger and yelled. They didn't communicate. So I had to learn how to communicate better. And for me, I journal first and I don't react right away. I'm like, okay, I want to say something really nasty right now. So I'm going to write it in my journal and then reflect and see. And I'm like, oh, I'm being very irrational. I'm because I needed to like I can communicate this differently and still get my point
Right,
across, you know. So
right.
but that's my self-soothing, that's checking in with myself. That's like also self-growth and self-healing for me, you know, and it looks so different for everyone, but journaling, reflection, movement, breath, like how can you help yourself in that moment? Sometimes you do need distraction, and I think it's healthy to an extent, not to avoid it, but like fully, but sometimes it's okay to like you know, not do like not deal with it for, in a moment, and it is okay to like kind of like I do yoga, like that's still like a it. I think sometimes it can be distraction based, but it's also stretching my body. It's a healthy means to, or dancing, you know, getting it out a little bit of a different way. Like
Well,
it's
so you
all
bring up a really,
individual, you know,
yeah, you
it's
bring
all
up a great point
individual.
right there, though. That, like, in other words, there's sometimes it's not the time to fully unpack something. So yeah, I mean, and in
Mm,
that, and that's because that's just one thing that popped out in what you were just saying. Because a lot of people,
yeah,
they're like, well, you told me to do this, so I did it right now. It's like, no, like sometimes you do need to, like, in this moment. Okay, why don't you like take a break for a sec, take because you're getting angry, or
right,
you're overreacting at the moment. So bring it down. Just go do something else for a minute and come back to this to deal with it. Don't
right,
just don't just distract and then you're just shove this in a box, shove it up on a shelf. And it's like whatever, I'm not gonna,
right,
there it's dealt with. No, it's not dealt with. Now you're becoming a mental hoarder. So no, now
right.
you have to deal with stuff. But yeah, I mean there is healthy distraction, absolutely. But
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think it's all balance. Like life is really about a balance, I think. Like I don't know, like the simplest things like eating healthy, you know, like yes, like it's important to eat healthy and you need to eat as, you know, whole foods and, you know, the vegetables and all the good things, but also like it's okay to indulge. Like it's okay to eat that cookie and like eat that those sweets once in a while too. Like, but it's balance. Like it's okay to I it's okay to, you know, drink or like indulge in that way to respect of that as long as it's not impeding with your life and like you're really like right, it's not harming you to the big large extent, but it's like helping you cope in some ways, but you're able to function and you're still growing and, you know, again, aligning with your truths. I think that's important, but like it's okay to indulge a little bit. It's okay to give yourself, you know, some of these cravings of support for yourself, some of these like coddling or coping strategies that may not always be the most healthy all the time, but it's a balance. Everything I think is a balance. And if we're too hard or too sharp with ourselves or like too like strict with ourselves, I think that's when we see, you know, worse things or you never accomplish it, you know, just if you're too rigid, if you're too hard, like you need to be flexible and be yeah, willing to give and take. It's an ebb and flow. Um yeah,
and
if you know what
in
I'm
that part,
saying.
right, I do, and that part right there too. A lot of times people form that mental place due to other people around, due to
Yeah,
other people that are interjecting
absolutely.
into your life or whatever. You got to remember
Mhm.
something. Most of the people, majority of the people that always have something to say about how you're doing it, always have something to say about your life or what you need to do different. It's because they're not. You are their distraction. You have just become their
Right.
distraction for not dealing with their own stuff. That's when you need to tell everybody sometimes, tell everybody to just shut the hell up. I'm doing me at the moment. And you do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to everybody else. You need to listen to you know. And yeah, and
Yep.
definitely taking those moments of self-indulging. Going back to redefining and understanding that relationship with yourself. Take When's the last time you took yourself on a date? When's the last time you took yourself to
Yes.
dinner? When's the last time you went and did that walk in the park you like to do? And I know that you love going hiking. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
to me, that's a version that you taking yourself on a date because it's
Yep.
empowering for you. You know?
Yep. And I just want to like kind of piggyback off of what you said about like people like and like, you know, not like going off of what they want, but going off of what you really need and what you want. Like you'll notice when you start really truly aligning with yourself and your things, like what you need to do for you and like giving that self-care and maybe sometimes saying no, right? Like boundary setting, that's a huge one. That's a big self-care thing. And that's
Right.
hard for people. It's like
Okay.
like, and when you start doing more self-care and you put yourself first, and you'll see, like, you might lose some friends, but you'll align with different people too, like, because if you're
Eh,
saying no, or you're taking care of yourself, that means you're having less time for other people. And it's not that you have to, like, do all of your time for yourself, but, like, you're gonna notice, like, you'll notice if you're like, oh, like, I need to do this today, like, I'm so sorry, when you would usually say yes, like, people be like, what? Like, some people don't understand that. Some people don't understand, like, you know, you just, I don't know, people just naturally drop off when you're putting yourself first and you're aligning with your high truths, because
yeah,
they don't
and
align with those because they're struggling with their own, right? So
right,
it's interesting, but I don't know,
and sometimes
I
you need
just thought
just to
about
let
that.
go. Yeah,
Oh
and
yes,
sometimes you
absolutely.
just, sometimes you just you let. Sometimes you need to help them pack. Right?
I
Be
think
like, hey,
that's
wish you the
part of it.
best.
Yep. But I think it's
Because
also a good thing, because they're probably not, if they're not supporting your higher growth, or you taking care of you, like, and they're not understanding of that, then that kind of shows, like, who maybe they are. And, like, maybe you don't necessarily need them, maybe not as much around, so I
yeah,
don't know, lessons to be learned there.
I love it. I love it.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
Very cool. Well, again, I want to say, Elizabeth, welcome. So glad to have you here. Woody, Kimberly, everybody at Stube, and also on Twitch. I've been getting, I wanted to pause a sec because I did have a message from somebody on Twitch, actually, which is,
Cool.
I think, the first, I've ever, I think it's the first time I've gotten a message. But anyway,
Oh,
their comment was, their comment was to you, Anna, and said, uh, "Thank you so much for bringing up about yoga and meditation. It's been one thing that has saved my life, and I also suffered
oh,
from past trauma. So thank you for bringing
yeah.
awareness." So
Oh, I just got, like, goosebumps. Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, it's good
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah,
It's good stuff.
absolutely. Wow, awesome.
But
That makes me feel like, that's why, this is why these spaces, I think, are so important, because it's about talking about these things, like, bringing awareness, like, maybe someone took something out of it, maybe, like, and it's just like talking about it. Like, these are important things. These are important things to think about. Like, how can you show up for yourself a little bit better? Even a little bit, like, even a little.
exactly, yeah,
Pause, like, give yourself that pause, and give yourself permission to pause, give yourself permission to feel, give yourself give yourself permission for being human, and we all make mistakes. We all go through shit, Sometimes we're kind of a-holes to each other, but we apologize, we move on, and we just kind of just show the best we can each day, Like, be kind to yourself
absolutely.
and be kind to others. Like, it
That's it.
doesn't have to be so complicated, but, so I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad we did
Oh
this, and
no,
we're going to be doing
yeah,
this every Sunday. So we'll have to
yes,
decide, like, if we do it here, or yeah, just, yeah,
uh, it's
I love
good.
it. I'm
I love
happy, and thank you.
it. Me too.
Thanks. Thanks for
Well,
having this
we're gonna
space.
before we wrap up. I have a last closing thought that I'm going to share, but Anna, I'd like for you to share as well. So this will be our last closing thoughts for this show, and then we'll wrap it up. So what would you like to say? No, I'm letting you go
Stop.
first.
I feel Oh gosh,
Well,
I
you're.
feel like I just said
Oh, there you
all of
go.
my spiel. I guess, like, I don't have much more to say than what I just said. No,
Okay, you're good.
but no, I'll just add that, yeah, thank you, Elizabeth, Woody, and Kimberly. Kimberly, yeah, for being here tonight and listening to us, and I hope that I hope you took something from it, or if not, like, just thanks for sharing the space. And I'm just thankful to be here, like, the last couple of years have been a challenge, but I think they've really shown me of where I need to show up for myself. And I'm slowly really feeling, like I'm getting there. And I just hope I can share with others the things that I've learned. And I feel like I learn from others all the time. So thanks for being here. And thank you, Trinity, for, just holding this space as well. And, you're truly a great friend. And I feel like you encourage these types of spaces too, and I just am thankful to just be able to share this energy in this time. So that's all I got. Yeah, and with that, I am done.
All right. Well,
Good
thank
night,
you for that.
everyone, or good day.
Yeah. And I'm just going to leave you guys with this. I'm going to say that we are in the new year, right? Remember this. I want you to treat every day like New Year. Every day is a new beginning. Every single time you wake up, it's your time time to do even one small thing different if you need to. This is your time to create that next chapter that you want. We hear that all the time. Oh, write a new chapter. Form a new book. Well, we can say all that all we want, but are we putting forth the action to do it? If you're miserable, change it. If you're sad and lonely, change it. If you're not happy with the path that you're on, change it. You have the power of change. You get to choose what you're going to do. Nobody else is living your life. Nobody else has your history. Nobody else has your heart. We are all unique individuals. We all are riding on our own line. Yeah. But we get to decide where we're going. The approach that you take in every single situation in your life determines the outcome. Remember that. Because it's your approach. You're the one in control. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Sometimes it feels like everything else is controlling. Not the case. You get choice. You have the power of choice. You have the power of seeing you, operating as you, and you have a voice. And you deserve everything. You deserve all of it. You deserve to have the beautiful light inside of you shine, no matter what you've come through. So own that. Own where you are today. Own yourself this January. Here we are, first month of the year. So now, let's let from now to the end of this month be your time to fuel up, get geared up, pack the stuff that you're going to need to make the next 11 months be the most beautiful blossoming of yourself and of your life that you can have it. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Anna, thank you so much for co-hosting this space with me. We are going to do this next Sunday. And but yeah, but guys, just know you deserve more always, not less. So Elizabeth, Woody, Kimberly, take that, take that into your heart and do something beautiful with it. All right, guys. Well, till next time, and I will be back with you for Sight Candy tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. So, hold on, we got somebody on the back end, I believe. Elizabeth just said on the back end that she said, "Love this, thank you so much, Elizabeth." Also, Elizabeth, I gave you a
Oh,
follow as well.
hi. Oh, yes,
Um,
I gotta figure out how to do that.
yeah,
Um, did
on the.
it.
There you go. And guys, yeah, if you're not following Anna, please do, and obviously please follow me so you can be part of Sight County and so forth. And but yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, and otherwise, Anna and I will see you next Sunday. So,
Bye.
all right, be
Okay.
happy, be healthy,